Good morning. Welcome to another fantastic Tuesday 10 at 10. I am your host, Richard Charpentier from Baking Innovation, baking-innovation.com if you want to find more. And I'm taking place and replacing Dr. Lincoln Carson today. And the format is simple. We get your questions being sent through the Bakerpedia website. And every week, today would be me attempting to answer your great question. So the first question I have is for someone that is in Asia. And as they're mentioning, they get tropical weather, meaning, high relative humidity. And the question is they're looking for help to recommend what would be the best combination for pound cake and sponge cake for anti-mold. Because apparently in their note, they are getting one combination where they're putting some ingredients to create anti-molding, and it works well with a pound cake but doesn't work well with a sponge cake. So now they want to know one combination that will work for both. So one thing, when you look at shelf life extension, mold preservation systems, it is very, very difficult just to get a little bit of thing and like a black and white answer where you would say, okay, in order to do that, throw that in. As mentioned in previous sessions online or with the notes on the Bakerpedia website, it's more complex than that. And in order to properly assess and properly recommend what to do, it is super important we've talked about what is the water activity, what is the pH of your products, what kind of sanitation program do you have in place, how are your ingredients being kept, do you have a good rotation system, what packaging, are the employees trained properly, because mold is present in the air, and on top of it you do have tropical weather. And not knowing what the food regulation, I hear we're regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, and CFR Title 21, with sort of the book that regulates, and you can go and dig and say, okay, what the maximum usage, is this a grass ingredient, so we can regulate. But in terms of Asia or Europe, India, I can't recommend not knowing, one, your formulation, your process, and the rules and regulation of your country. So the best recommendation is go back to the website. They do have several programs at Bakerpedia where you can hire someone, a consultant, including myself, for the day. And in some instance, you could also do, per question, and one question will be answered where we'll spend more time and go a little more details with you, and for a small fee. But check them out. I think there's lots of great resources. And again, sorry, I'm not able to give you more with your answer. Next question. Shelf life extension in bread. This person is currently using calcium perphenate, but the bread start getting moldy in 4 to 5 days. Need help with a recipe. Well, of what to do, I'm assuming. First of all, like I mentioned in the previous question, there's a reason why you're getting mold. That's to start with sanitation, and that's to start with the way of the process. So before adding an ingredient in, it's very, very, very important to fix your process, because you should not mold within 4 to 5 days. That means your CFU, your colony forming unit, is going to be really high. If you were to take a dish and plate it, swap some areas and verify how high the count is, and then you'll be surprised, because if you're molding that rapidly, you have other issues. So just as recommended with the previous question, I cannot just help you with a recipe and write a recipe and say, okay, put that much eggs, put this, and then you're done. It's solved. It's not working like that. It takes more of a one-on-one communication with the bakery to understand where the potential problems might be coming from, because there's no one answer, black and white, where it'd be like, okay, this is it, do this. Doesn't work this way. We're dealing with living organism, you're dealing with fungi, you're dealing with, organism that is in the air around, and not knowing what the environment of your bakery is, it's difficult to know how to solve it. And knowing that you get molds within 4 to 5 days, I would say this is you have a problem. So it starts with sanitation and training of the employees. I hope it answered your question, and thank you. And next question: what is the best sugar-free option for commercial pancakes and waffles? Good question. Now we're looking at sugar-free and removing the sugar completely. Best option, that I've seen and I've experimented with, you have all your artificial sweeteners. You have the Splenda, you have the stevia, you have the aspartame. What can you use to create your product? Then you have the allulose and tagatose. You have the artificial, you have the erythritol, and you have artificial sugar alcohols that you can use. But the key when you deal with that, I'd love to help you design that. It's going to take more. I'm just going through the different available options together. But the key to making a successful product, in an instance for you, a good pancake and waffle is going to be sugar-free, quality sales. So me telling you, put this, put that in there, I don't know what you will get, because I don't know your process. I don't know, is this frozen product? Is this fresh product? And what are all the other criteria, other factors that can contribute to the flavor of your product? What's your shelf life, et cetera, et cetera. So all of those have to be sort of looked at before you can really make a good decision. But as I mentioned, there are some good options today to do that. But remember, as you're building a cake, you're talking about formula percent. So formula percents, we're talking from 0 to 100%, and everything has a place and a functionality. And as we all aware, as you remove sugar also contributes to lots of functionalities, such as shelf life, tenderness, sweetness, flavor to your product. As you remove it, can you fully be sugar-free and have the same experience as a sugar? No, you can come close to, but you'll never replace today's sugar the same way, especially in the bakery, from all the organoleptic properties that you have normally in a cake. But that's something I'd be glad to help you. Again, there's some consultancy packages you can look at Bakerpedia. I recommend you go check it out, and maybe I can help you better formulate a product that would suit you and your production. Okay, I have one more question, the last question. Somebody wants to know about the Tangzong method, baking method, and they'd like to know how to apply it in an industrial application to be able to run 3,000 loaves per hour. So for those, I had to do some research. So for myself, about finding out the name, what is the Tangzong method? So the Tangzong method is apparently historically derived from Japan, and it's a yeast bread technique that was popularized by the Chinese cookbook author Yvonne Chen. And what it is basically, it involves taking a portion of the flour with some liquid and creating a thick slurry by cooking it up. In France, we call it a roux, R-O-U-X. Basically, you take starch and you're cooking it up, and then you start adding the remaining ingredients back into your bread after it cools down, of course, because you can't put something hot, you'll kill the yeast. And then making a bread with it, and it helps make a fluffy light bread. Just a quick background: this is not a new technique. This has been used around, and we're calling it a Tangs Hung method. The French will do a roux. If you think when you make a pâte à choux, cream puffs, it's very similar. You would sort of make a slurry with and then add a slurry to keep that softness. So what you're allowing to do, you are allowing for the starches to properly hydrate, and by cooking it up, and you're basically it's similar to see with flour, like chlorinated cake flour. With the process, it allows for it to pre-gel at a different area. And right now, when you're pre-cooking and pre-hydrating your ingredients, it will make for a soft cake. So in order to see what you can do for your application, you basically will have to invest money and have some large kettles can accommodate your weight, and then you have to have a system with refrigeration and with trough where you can basically pre-made, pre-cooked, sit them in the refrigerator. Then you have to look at shelf life, make sure you have a good rotation system, and that's doable. Everything is doable with the right investment, and you shouldn't have a problem. But it's going to require capital investment on your side in order to be able to do that on a regular basis. And remember that quality and consistency is the main driver that consumers will go back and buy again. So again, thank you. And if you have any questions, go back to the Bakery Forum on Bakerpedia. You have a wonderful, lovely Tuesday, and happy baking. Take care. Bye.